Hi, welcome to the Canadian Securities Exchange podcast series. Actually, this is season 2. I'm your host, Barrington Miller, Director of Issuer Engagement at the CSE. And today I am here with Interim CEO, Mr. Anthony Durkacz of FSD Pharma. Welcome to the show, Anthony.
Thank you.
Mr. Durkacz, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us where FSD Pharma was, and then we'll get to where it's going.
Thank you. Yeah. So we're my background is you started on the capital markets trading floor, then got into M&A, ultimately ended up becoming the majority owner of First Republic Capital, where we focused on microcap deals. We've done a lot of deals in so many different industries, and then really sort of transformed into a merchant bank where we would invest money alongside deals that we found interesting. And so FSD was one of those companies. We saw it was an opportunity to help them raise money, to take them public. So we did it. We did it in a big way. It was during the cannabis heydays of 2017, 2018, where you did have a very, very different market. And when we began trading on the CSE, we did break every volume trading record, the exchange had ever had. And so I guess we became a very well-known ticker symbol in Canada. But looking back at it's almost hard to say if it was a good thing or a bad thing, because so many people got involved and so many investors got involved. And then when the cannabis industry itself unwound and the company itself missed on a number of performance targets and metrics, and there were agreements that had not worked out, it was challenging, and so there were a lot of shareholders in Canada here that saw a significant downturn. And so now, going through what FSD's gone through, I sit as an interim CEO, a co-founder, one of the largest shareholders of the company, to try to turn that around. And what I'm excited, and I'm not excited about the past, and very humbled by some of the patience shareholders have shown us, but what we really want to do is we've sort of repivoted the company and sort of looked at what was positive, what's been really good, where were we successful, and today the company is in exceptional cash position, and so now the mandate of the board is now how do we help equate that to benefit shareholders, and so that's sort of my history and why I'm talking to you now as interim CEO of FSD. Not necessarily by choice, by the way. Yeah. I'm interim, and we are actively looking for a CEO who has biotechnology experience, that has done previous deals, that have partnered with big pharma or sold to big pharma, and has capital markets experience, because we also have the dual listing here in the CSE and on the NASDAQ to try to leverage those types of strengths and access to capital and a much bigger global investment community.
So I'm going to put a pin in the NASDAQ one, just because it's fascinating, and the process of actually going through it, I'm sure was very, very thorough.
And I think we were the first or second duly listed CSE company to get onto the NASDAQ at the time.
Yeah, I do want to say the first, but we'll have to fact check that. Definitely top two. So, traveling a little bit back in time to a few weeks ago, where I was out at another company event, and I ran into Mr. Durkacz. And of course, we did the socially distanced and acceptable greetings and said hello and all of those good things. And it's nice to see people again live. We were talking about,
and that was the first event, financing related event in the financial district I'd been to since March of 2020.
Yes.
Which is
me too.
Hard to imagine. Oh yeah.
No, but yeah, we definitely remembered how to how to behave at these types of events.
Much better
And
than before.
much better than before. So we got talking, and I'm like, "Hey, Anthony, so what's going on?" And it was there that Anthony Durkacz made a very, very bold proclamation as to what his wish, what his desire, what his dream, what his goal is for FSD Pharma, and the new direction that it's going, and the passion behind it. So I'm not going to steal the punchline, but I'm going to do that setup, and I'm turning it over to you. Where is FSD going nowadays?
Yes. So, in looking back and trying to rebuild shareholder value, one of the metrics that we had achieved in 2018 was over $1 billion market cap. And so, not saying anything, and we're not making any claims or anything like that. In my wish list and in my target, the idea is, how do we get back to that type of capitalization? And so to me, technology is critical. Technology is one of those few areas that will allow you to get to that base. And really what's really exciting and has real potential to do that. So when we take FSD today, became a biotechnology company, had a drug candidate called FSD-PEA, which was in sync with cannabis, not because it's a cannabis or a cannabinoid, but that the actual molecule enters the human body the exact same way cannabis does, through your CB2 receptor into your endocannabinoid system. And what we saw and what we're excited about is that, like many people have said about cannabis in the past, that they have anti-inflammation properties and they have anti-pain properties that are not addictive. We find that true whether or not it's cannabis, if it enters your CB2 receptor through the endocannabinoid system. So with that idea in mind, we wanted to go out and follow an actual drug pipeline through FDA approvals. The good news is that FSD-PEA had successfully completed phase 1 trials, showed excellent safety. We completed the toxology. Those will get announced as soon as they're ready. And now we've built an incredible team with our most recent acquisition of 2 weeks ago to look at what the best indication or target should be for FSD-PEA. But with this acquisition that we just completed, which is Lucid brings 2 additional drug candidates. One, which is in the psychedelic space, and it's a molecule. What I can say about it, and which interested me about it, because I do see a lot of different, I saw a lot of different psychedelic deals, companies, and opportunities, is that this was totally unique and different. The target is for depression, but it's not LSD, it's not MDMA, it's not ketamine, it's not ibogaine, it's not DMT, it's not psilocybin. It's not what people think about when they think about psychedelics. And that's what really got me interested and excited about that. And the second drug candidate that this recent acquisition brings to the table is a drug candidate to target MS. So in both multiple sclerosis and in depression, there is no cure today. And what we saw and what we were able to see in animal modeling was really, really exciting. Today, if you have MS, or if you're diagnosed with MS by your doctor, that's a very heavy burden of information to be given, which can lead to depression. And that's where these tie in. So because there's no treatment for depression, and you can become depressed or clinically depressed when you are diagnosed with a serious disease, a target for depression, which is a totally different psychoactive psychedelic molecule than people are accustomed to, and a drug candidate that shows the promise to not only protect but the target is to reverse MS. So if people have lost the ability to walk, or they need a walker, or or they're in a wheelchair, this is something where we see potential, and there's a long road to potential, to try to actually reverse that. And that's what no drug or treatment today does in MS, and current treatments for depression. As we know, hundreds of millions of people globally suffer from it, and we're still not, we're better, and technology has helped us, but we're not there yet. And that's where we see that psychedelic new frontier of medicine that gets us really, really excited.
It's some people are concerned that psychedelics is a fad, that it's a new wave, that it's not really here to stay. I mean, I have my own personal opinion. I don't think it's not a quick game. This is not cannabis, and I can't reiterate that enough, as far as an industry, as far as the way companies develop. But the health benefits, the health and wellness, quality of life, like you're talking about really massive human changes, and that's exciting. And the opportunities that are there, for companies like this to be funded, to grow, to expand, and to do research is incredible.
And that's really our job, as a
Yeah.
microcap company. We have to try to do what we can to make an impact, and I think that's true of any company, especially microcaps. You're one of millions. How do you stand out? And if you can't stand out, as a microcap technology company, it's very difficult to survive. When you think of like investment, there are similarities to what happened in cannabis and cannabis stocks, and looking at in general, no matter what, anytime someone's investing in any single stock, especially a microcap, no matter what the industry is, just be very, very careful. Do all of your own research and diligence, and never, it's a gamble. That's ultimately what it is. And never, ever, ever invest more than you can afford to lose, that you can afford to lose in its entirety, and so that it wouldn't impact your financial quality of life. And I think that's, more than ever, really important. I think we see a lot of traders and investors bite more than they can chew, and it's not good. It's not right, and you shouldn't. You should be very, very careful, when looking at making investments in any microcap and any individual stock. For example, in 2008, I saw Royal Bank of Scotland, which was one of the 10 biggest banks in the world, collapse to zero, and you saw Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, and stuff that you thought was never possible, and
Too big to fail.
too big to, but in the world of microcaps and in investing in microcaps, you have to be willing to lose everything you're investing, and capable of losing it, and not getting not getting or not making the wrong decision in that respect.
No, we appreciate your candor, and if you're watching this, uh, and you're thinking about investing, we are not giving investment advice, on this
None
program, but
whatsoever.
we are giving some life advice. Um, Now, you were talking a little bit earlier about NASDAQ and how you are now duly listed on NASDAQ. What was the experience like to get onto NASDAQ, and what has it been like since you've been? What are the benefits, as well, both to you
Yeah.
and to your investors?
I would say the main, and this would be for any company, liquidity. You have access to more liquidity on NASDAQ. When we're comparing Canada to anything, even you're talking about the TSX proper, if you're talking about London, if you're talking about Hong Kong, um, you know, being a technology company, on a US big board, so predominantly NASDAQ, there is enormous amounts of liquidity. And so at the right time, you can leverage that liquidity, to raise money. You're open to a broader range of investors. Like, for example, some brokers, can't trade certain stocks on certain exchanges under certain dollar values, under certain market caps. And so that, is definitely a benefit. And it really, there's access to capital in Canada, raising money for a living in microcaps in Canada. I can say that, to raise $2 million in Canada in a sector that's highly bullish, in the USA, you can probably raise 20 or 30 or 40 million with the same amount of work, would be the best way to describe that.
Well, it makes sense. 10 times excuse me, 10 times the population size.
Of course, yeah.
Makes sense. So hey, listen, Anthony, I know you're extremely busy. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Canadian Securities Exchange for your time, for the update. For FSD Pharma, ticker symbol is
HUGE, huge.
Huge. I've been your host, Barrington Miller. This has been a brief update as to what's going on with FSD Pharma. And of course, you've heard it here on the Canadian Securities Exchange podcast. For more content like this, visit us again on YouTube, CSE TV. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And we'll see you at the next episode. Thank you.